He loves a steak. He loves a steak. A young fella messaged me today. I don't know if you saw the story or the post, and they are struggling to get a job, and they're at university, 19, and went around and offered to clean for some of their, I assume, like the neighbourhood or just people, I think via Facebook groups actually, and have ended up with $1,000 worth of cleaning work. And I think it's really opened their eyes to how possible it actually is and how much money is actually out there. So we just released or re-released an old podcast. Sorry, but the answer is make more money, because I think a lot of people, we don't talk about that in New Zealand. It's a little bit anti-New Zealand to talk about making more money. It's not very New Zealand-ish, but I think a lot of us are being forced to have to think about it, especially with rising interest rates, and then not being able to afford all the bananas we want from Shires and Dannyburg, and rates going up and things like that as well. So we've been pushed into the corner a little bit to think about increasing our income. So I think it has become a bit more common. But what was cool for this 19-year-old this morning is that they've found a way to get back in control. So you could very easily argue that he could just go, well, there's no jobs out there, there's nothing that I can do, but he chose not to. And the job route was hard, but he's learning that by performing good service for people, he can clean and make some money. So he was asking, how could I increase the volume, and how could I do even more? So simple suggestion was basically, well, once you have some wins, then start by asking those people, do they know anybody else that would want what you have sold them? So do they know anybody else who would want their house cleaned or whatever it is that you're doing? So and I talk to business owners about this all the time, and they might even be running big businesses, but it's uncomfortable for us to ask, and so I think a lot of people struggle to do that. And maybe I'd have to invite Mikey to join. He can't request. Messaging me. Hopefully that's sent Mike an invite. But a lot of us struggle to ask because it's a bit uncomfortable. But realistically, when we start getting in the habit of asking, things become a bit easier. So again, if you're just joining, if you want to brainstorm anything around increasing your income or ways that you could increase your income with the skills that you have, feel free to chuck it into the chat and we'll see if we can give you a hand. Where is Mikey? Oh, here we go.
Are we loading it? Are we rolling?
Yeah, mate. Yeah, I was waiting for you to request, but I can't see anything.
Yeah, what's happened here? Hang on. We got it. There we go. Oh, shit. Look at the state of me.
Been out running, mate, or something? I don't know.
Oh, just lifting weights on the keyboard, mate.
Oh, good man. Good man. I saw the other day there was a lady who had 8 kids who left a comment on one of the posts. And I was thinking how, if you had 8 kids, you probably actually have really valuable skills that other people would want to learn from, but you probably 100%. Wouldn't see that because you'd just be so busy looking after your 8 kids rather than realizing that, somebody who's having their first kid or their second kid, their third, or I think they might have even had triplets. You could probably help people who are about to be parents of triplets what to expect. Yeah. And people would pay for that information.
Man, I heard I don't know how I hadn't heard this quote, but I heard the sickest quote the other day by Thomas Edison, the guy who invented the light bulb. And it was like, Thomas Edison had 10,000 failures at inventing the light bulb. And he said, I didn't fail, I found 10,000 ways it didn't work. I was like, fuck,
nice.
That's like, I feel like we're needing a bit of that in New Zealand right now. That's what you've got there is a good example. We just need to pull the trigger sometimes, eh?
And have a crack at something. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very difficult for me to understand why sitting there and complaining is a good road to go down, because you already know the outcome of what happens there. Nothing's going to change.
Nah. I think we've covered it on pods previously, but it's like a comfort thing, right? We want to stay there because we have that expectation that we shouldn't have to do something differently or take that action, but it's just not realistic.
Nah, I think the weirdest part is that there- there's a belief part of it. Like we've obviously lost a little bit of belief in ourselves, but like everyone's pretty unique to their own individual selves, and everyone's got a skill to do something, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, and someone's left a comment saying the first side hustle was an online blog on Substack. Ended up earning a few hundred USD per month. Was getting paid to write about things I had expertise in. And I feel like that encaptures basically how you make more money. You stick to what you have experience in, expertise in, or can educate people on. And
Yeah,
and it's like when, most people hate speaking, public speaking. But if you're telling your story, it shouldn't even really be hard. Or if you're talking about something you're good at, then it shouldn't be hard. It's just actually then nerves that you're going to make a dick of yourself. Where speaking is hard is when you're asked to speak about something you don't know anything about or don't have any experience in. And that's what I think happens when we're at school is we get asked to speak and we're having to speak about a topic we don't know heaps about. So we know we're going to make a dick of ourselves because we don't know if we actually know what we're talking about. And
mm,
so then I think people get afraid of speaking, but really they're not actually scared of speaking. They're scared of speaking about something that they're not familiar with. And I think it's the same with making money, is people try and find this crazy idea or copy somebody else. But sometimes you just got to get good at something or stick to something that you know what to do, like this person writing a Substack about things that they had expertise in, and people will pay for that information.
yeah. One of the it's probably like a little bit of a bonus for me, but being a mortgage advisor for so long now, I get to see so many different types of income that's out there.
Yeah,
So
true.
I get it's probably been a good thing, right? Because I get to see people that, make money off Substack or YouTube or social media or bricklaying or fitting tires. Like the list just goes on and on and on. So it probably gives me like an unfair advantage. I just want to tell people that like you'd be blown away by what people make money out of, like, and legally, I mean,
Yeah.
there's just so many different avenues. Like there's people making like 5 and 6 figures a month off making school communities now.
Yeah.
Like, and like someone created a platform for you to do that.
Yeah. It's pretty crazy where you can teach your skill to the world, to people who want to pay for it.
Yeah.
Good eve. Yeah. Um, I wrote a little list when I was on the plane the other day of some avenues for income that I've seen that are still working well, even in this tough economy. So some of these are like landscaping, car washing, any forms of cleaning. Cleaning is a form of convenience.
Services,
Uh,
baby.
yeah, lawns and garden maintenance, lawn maintenance, flipping cars, something you've got experience in.
Yeah,
Um,
man, there's heaps of money in that.
yeah, financial services, even Tama. I think you said something good on the pod. Sorry, but you need to make more money, and it's you basically said that we do know how to make more money. We just don't tell people that we want to do it. So you were basically explaining how people get stuck at the point of, I don't know what to do, but they do know what to do. They then just don't go and tell more people. So they know that they could clean someone's house or car or gutters or whatever, but they don't go and tell people that they're willing to do it.
Mm, mm. Yeah. Sometimes when you hit rock bottom, that helps, eh? Like
Yeah.
there's a part of it is uh because actually you're still comfortable, eh? That's why. Because you can afford to not do it. That's like heaps of what New Zealand is, because we've got like uh you can get housing, you can get, money from the government, you can basically make sure that you don't die and survive. But to like level up and get past that and go to the next level, you actually have to go and do it. And that, man, I think back to some of the shit I did, man. Like, I don't know if any other mortgage brokers have gone door knocking around their neighborhood, eh? But I did that shit. It didn't really work, but I was
Yeah.
so hungry, eh? Like, and the price I paid to try and get like my first few loans off the ground at the time was like the most embarrassing moments of my life. But fuck, it teaches you so much, and you carry like an extra layer of knowledge. And like now, when I talk to my guys at Guardian, they're like, "What did you do?" I'm like, "Well, 80% of what I did, you don't ever have to do because I tried it and I know it does not work."
And similarly at the other end, I was talking to a business owner this week, and they were talking about like YouTube channel and content. I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. I'm just going to get you right back to basics, man. We need to find some people that may want to transact with you, and we need to send them an email. We need to give them a ring. We want to have a well-written sort of script or something that we're going to talk about when we ring them. And that's going to give us a better chance of not saying nervous. We don't need to go down the YouTube content route yet. Let's
Mm,
just and there's a good saying, who's got my money? And again, it's not very Kiwi, but it's like a very simple frame to think once a week. Okay, who's got the money? And if
yeah.
you know what you're good at, well then who could your customer be? And it might be
Oh
your neighbor.
shit.
And
Yeah, well, it's funny you say that because I had like a guy um like DM me on Instagram the other day, and he's obviously a mortgage advisor who's recently become a mortgage advisor, and he just was like, "Hey mate, as a new mortgage advisor, how do you fill your pipeline?" And I was like, "Well, how many contacts do you have in your phone?"
nice.
Like we just like completely look past all of the stuff we even already have. You know, most people have like hundreds of contacts in your phone,
Yeah,
and that's a real good place to start, eh? You know, like
100%.
pick up the phone, make the call, and you're like, oh, that one was like a psycho X, so we can probably delete that. But you know, this person I haven't talked to in 2 years, but you know, you've just got to like pick up your balls and give them a call, eh, and just say what you're doing, and you'll get told no heaps, but you'll pick up something.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
Yeah. I always say like everybody's got 10 grand in their contact list.
100%, man.
Yeah.
I mean, there's like if I held a gun to your head, you're not a good example because you're too far ahead. But if I took everything off you tomorrow and then held a gun to your head, and you weren't allowed to contact me, but you only had the contacts on your phone, do you reckon you could find 10 grand by the weekend?
Piss. I wouldn't
Yeah,
need the weekend.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. You'd have it tomorrow. I'd be waking up in the morning and it would already be in my account. You would have already transferred it because someone would have found a deal or something, you know? Like the
Please no one do this to me.
no, no.
Shit,
But
man.
it's just an example of like when you take things. I love taking things to the extreme in my mind, eh? And then just
Mm.
thinking, all right, well, yeah, I don't have to do that, but the principle of what is required to do it, let's get to work, you know?
Lady Heidi says, rock bottom, yeah, but sometimes you're in a hole and the walls feel high. If you're still watching, can you like give us some more context of what you mean by that? But I think Mikey's example of like holding the gun to the head, like we all when our back is against the wall, like we often find a way out, and that's because we're forced to. But it's how do you force yourself to when you don't need to? And often, like Mikey and I will have conversations where we'll jokingly be like, "Why are we here on a Saturday? Like, why are we
Yeah.
working this hard? Like why are we having this convo at 8 p.m. or whatever?" And that's so far away from um like having to, you know,
Mm,
where you're finding a level of motivation and discipline or obsession even inside yourself because you love it, and then you can't help it. But I think for a lot of people, like they watch obsessive people and people way down the track and think like, oh, I need to be a bit like them. But you have no idea what they are actually like. They've gone through the whole journey, but they could actually stop or not be doing it, but they still do it. And that's I think what's really hard to understand about really like high achievers. Like Lisa Carrington. Why does she need to go back to the Olympics?
mm.
Wasn't one enough? No, because she's a killer. And well, I shouldn't use that word if she doesn't want to be called a killer, but she's a high performer, and it's her craft, it's her passion, and it's her obsession, and she's going to squeeze every ounce of it until she's had enough.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the motivational part behind it is probably the hardest part because man, like I've been in the mortgage industry a long time now, and I've met so many brokers across the industry, and some of them are complete retards and make good money, eh? Like So like what that means is, and like no offense to anyone, but what that means is that when you do something long enough in, especially in New Zealand, like not everyone would like working with me as their mortgage advisor either, because they wouldn't like my style or how I talk or how I operate or whatever. But if you do the job long enough and you commit to it and you do a good job, and even if you're a goober, even if you think of yourself as a goober, eventually your people will come around you.
Mm,
Like
yeah.
eventually the people will turn up. And yeah, it's like I think we have to remember that side of it too, eh? Because yeah, you don't have to
There's a lot of smart broke people, man. Like a lot of smart broke people.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was
And
watching a podcast last night and and the guy was saying like they were talking about AI and high IQ and he was like, I'm just not so sure, eh? Because like really high IQ people aren't really successful and they haven't done heaps of real good stuff for the world. Like a lot of the really good productive invention and stuff like that has come from just normal people that are trying to solve a problem. You know? It's like real true though.
Lady Heidi says, yeah, for sure. I meant when the worry gets too much and you feel overwhelmed, it's important to reset yourself. And I think that's a really good point that we haven't touched on yet. But like, you have to be really careful of your beliefs and your overwhelm. So when you're overwhelmed, it's very hard to make the right decisions, but it's also very hard to see clearly. And you get into that defensive reject, like you reject everything. Like, that's not possible. I couldn't do that. Easy for you to say because you're just trapped by how hard your life is. And we talked about this, I think, in like how to escape survival mode. But I saw on that post the other day that someone had 700 and something rack, on their
Yeah,
transaction account.
sorry about leaving that there.
Yeah, yeah. And someone's like, it's hard enough to save $70, let alone 700K. And whilst I understand what they're saying, like you can't believe that, or you don't want to believe that if you want to achieve more than that. Because if you keep telling yourself that, the world's going to show you that. And I was thinking about that, and I was thinking, and then like I opened my inbox and I had $100 sale to a workshop, and I thought, shit, like imagine if I believed that it was hard to save $70. Would I sell a workshop for $100 for one ticket? Like, no. So
Yeah.
it's hard because like with the stage that we're at, you know, is so far down the path to try and figure out how do you articulate to someone like with respect, don't believe that. Like don't get stuck there because that's all you're gonna see.
Well,
But
you do it with respect. That's why you're better at this than me. Whereas I'm just like, there's fucking heaps of evidence that says otherwise. Like,
I guess
you,
it's like the gun at the head. Like you could find $70 tomorrow if you really wanted to, or within an hour. Everyone.
yeah, yeah,
Well, even this, bro, like even buskers don't believe that because they wouldn't sit there with a sign saying
yeah,
money. Like even they are like, these motherfuckers will give me money. I just have to hold a sign and people will give me some money.
yeah,
And then some
yeah,
go a step further and like, I'll clean cars at the intersection and
yeah,
I will, make a bit of money. So like even they don't believe that it's hard to stack $70.
yeah, yeah. I think my favorite one, back to like the Gunty Head one, my favorite one, I think this came from Alex Hormozy. But he said, if I've got a Ferrari and I said you can have it for $5,000 and you can meet me back here in 5 hours, will you buy the Ferrari? And like everyone says yes, eh? Because like the value gap above the price of finding that $5 is so large. But the reality is the Ferrari's 300 grand, but your retirement's more valuable than that. Your kids' upbringing is more valuable than that. Fuck, this is going to be brutal. Um, Looking after your parents when they're on their deathbed is more valuable than that. So, like, why aren't you acting like that now?
Yeah, you've got to find reasons, reasons that are more like that are worth more to you than the comment or than the belief.
Yeah,
Yeah. Um, but
brutal,
Liam
eh?
says, but sometimes we need it because we need to like see these things from a different angle to see how other people do it. Like I look at other people doing shit. I'm like, how do they make sense of that, man? Like, how do they make that decision? I'm like, I'm playing too small. Like, they must know. I'm like, they don't know. Now I'm getting to a point where I'm like, they don't know something I don't know. They're just backing themselves faster than I would.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
it's a very different mindset. I wonder if we get trained it in school
I think
or
because like we're an export nation and quite small and the scale's not there and whatnot, then we do just confine into that like thinking small piece and haven't realized that the internet has unlocked a lot of that. But
mm,
like even, Halter that's just been valued at $1 billion company, I'm
cow
pretty
collars,
sure.
baby.
Yeah, like their penetration into New Zealand still isn't that high. But we go around being like, oh yeah, we're really quick to adopt technology in New Zealand. But even I remember when Zero came out, I was like, oh man, that looks painful merging all the shit over into Zero. Like, oh, maybe next month, maybe next month, maybe next month, And then
Yeah.
the other day they buy a $2 billion US company. Um,
Yeah.
Liam says procurement strategic sourcing manager would like to earn extra cash with my skills, but not sure it's a skill that the general public nor for big organizations at some stage want to work. Like in a role like that, because I don't really understand procurement strategic sourcing manager, like I would go to ChatGPT as an example. That's one exercise to then figure out, okay, here's what I do in this role. I'm trying to figure out how I can make some extra cash. But then if you just take it back to basics, if you think about this role, somebody's hired you to facilitate a transaction or to plug a gap or to connect people and
Mm,
to have expertise in the middle to make sure that they don't get it wrong and that they don't get ripped off or that they get value out of what it is that they're going to do. There will be businesses or other people that need that skill set that can't afford someone full time. So you might be able to contract to them slightly. So if we take it to another skill set like IT support, there's a lot of IT contractors because they'll go, well, I'm not working for you full time because I know that I can basically contract to 6 different places and soak up a fair bit of each of their budget and do some overseas stuff as well and make 600 grand a year rather
mm.
than taking 200 grand a year from one salary.
Yeah. Yeah. IT people are crazy like that. They've really cracked the system there. Like it's very rare we have like an IT person that is like a PAYE employee or like the bigger ones of banks and stuff probably have full timers, but even they contract people in to be honest. Um yeah, they've cracked that because they know they can just like line their pockets because they're valuable.
Yeah.
They're solving problems.
Someone's Yeah, and that's all money is like making money is solving problems.
Yeah,
And I think a lot of Kiwi people can't see like they haven't been taught that to start with because you're basically told get a job and like you'll get paid.
yeah,
That's not really what you're solving a problem for the employer. But if we taught more people, oh, you just need to solve problems for people and you get paid. But oh shit, okay, that sounds a lot different to working or getting a job, and you go looking for people's problems, and when you solve them for people, you make money, and your brain is looking for something different. So it's not looking for a job or for safety for yourself. You're looking for other people's problems and trying to solve them, and then you're serving people, so then the world serves you in return.
yeah.
Um, Brock, I think, says, are most people's attitudes towards money and finances passed down the generations? I
It's
kind
a
of,
funny one, eh?
yeah,
I think people break out of that if there is that because there's like evidence of that. But maybe I just feel like it's probably a bit more of like a societal groupthink thing that people get into more than like passed down from parents and stuff. There's definitely like I do think like the best lessons come from like family and mentors over school. But I think like university is a scam. So, but I think
yeah,
yeah, it's a tough one to think about. I don't know where it comes from. I know that the dollar's broken, so that's like a problem. But in terms of building a desire to like work out the problems yourself and then go and do it, that's definitely I don't know where that comes from. Like, or just sitting around doing nothing and then complaining. Like,
I'll, I'll,
yeah,
I'll go deep. So one, I think yes, to a degree. So you can learn things and be nurtured. So then you like believe rich people are evil, rich people don't pay any tax or whatever, and you're picking up those lessons from maybe your family. you've had someone in your family's been ripped off by somebody over money, so then it's like, oh, money fucking ruins things, man. Money ruins families, and so then you're like, oh shit, man, I've got to be real careful. So like that can happen. Secondly, then you could go, well, no, it doesn't, because then you look at people in like there's always an outlier in a family that goes like they do all the stuff, and everyone goes, whoa, what do they do? And so that's where I reckon that person's more fascinating to me. And I reckon
Mm.
what happens is they observe and they go, like, I want that or I don't want that. And so then they build their own path. And I reckon that then the deeper layer to that again, and this is just my observations, this is not like, do not take this from like as if I'm a psychologist, but that I reckon people use money to solve problems or issues that they have that they without solving the actual issue. So say
Like
they're
getting on the piss.
insecure and they have like a negative relationship with one of their parents or something, and they like want them to respect them, and so then they like go and spend money doing shit to try and like impress them or to show them, and so they're like using where, and someone else would be like, why are you doing that? And they're using money like negatively, trying to solve a problem that's actually an internal issue. Or, they're unhappy. So then they haven't learned how to deal with feeling unhappy. So then we have normalized this like, oh, retail therapy. It's like, what the fuck?
That's
Do
sad.
you know what I mean? It's like, oh, you want to go for some retail therapy? No, bro, I'm
Oh,
unhappy, man. I
fuck.
need to figure out why I'm unhappy. I don't I don't want to treat it. I don't want to treat it by giving over the resource that I've just been battling my ass off to get. But like
But
with
if you
no,
think about it, unhappy is good because if you don't have unhappy, then it's impossible to have happy.
yes,
You can't only have happy. You need a yin and a yang
well,
to everything.
the hard ends up creating the good, right?
Yeah. Like
Yeah,
we're literally wired to be like, it's cold in the forest and I'm a caveman. Let's make fire. Like
yeah.
that's how life works. It's like, fuck, we're dying because it's cold. If we want to live longer, we've got to figure out how to stay warm and like, all right, let's rub some sticks together and see what
I
happens.
also think when you go through hard stuff, it strengthens you for the next time. So then it's not like it's desensitized, right? And so you notice it's like when you go and knock on your neighbor's door the first time, you're scared shitless. And then when they do say no, you are like, whoa, what the hell? Your world just crumbles around you. But then the next one, if they say yes, then, but if you didn't knock on that one, like you wouldn't know. But then if you've got the yes, you forget about the no, and then it keeps you moving to the next one. But like eventually you're still winning and you're mowing the lawns, and then you run over the neighbor's cat, and now you got another problem you got to deal with. Obviously, you're not going to run over the cat.
That's that's not a problem I want.
So, so, like, there'll always be another problem, but every time there's a problem, you've got to be like, ah, shit, I just have to work through this again. And you build up a repetition and a skill set of being able to work through problems. And instead of these big deals, you're just like, oh, that's another one of these structures that I need to work through. It's a problem. I know how to solve it. It's communication, it's finding a middle ground, etc.,
Yeah,
and making sure, but I think when it's always easy for us, and I think we got a big dose of that through lockdown. Lockdown sucked for a lot of people, but financially the economy was so bubbly. Then all of a sudden we like went 180 the other way, and it was like, whoa, we've just gone from it being pretty cushy, like the whole world shut down, and we potentially didn't have jobs, and then we're like, just kidding, you're all going to be sweet, and you
retail
can,
therapy.
yeah, have some retail therapy, and don't even work that hard. And then it's
Yeah,
like, oh, now cop this 7% inflation, 6% interest rates. So it was like one extreme to the other,
yeah, man.
which doesn't help. Um, Someone says people are scared of losing it once they have it. I noticed the change in myself. Like once I started stacking, that you then still, it's like the people who have copied my stacking 100K. They're like, bro, I've done it. I'm like, mean. They're like, now what? I'm like, oh yeah. But in that time, you have to learn what to do, what to do next. You have to deploy it. Oh shit, I don't want to lose it. I'm like, yeah, I wouldn't either, man. Uh,
Yeah. Being scared of losing it is it's hard, eh? Like it's a funny one because like I'm a little bit scared of losing it, but I because I went and learned that forced me to learn about the money and because like I bought rental properties and stuff and then didn't really like it, but I was like, that's what you have to do though, and I didn't really understand why. And then once I learned why, now what I do I'm comfortable with, but it's a bit of a scary one. Like if you crack something in business or a job that you do really well and you start making more money than you thought that you'd ever make, you get to a point where you're like, fuck, I've got to do something with it. And then because normally if you do crack something, you've been like very, very focused on it
Mm.
and you haven't been like learning about anything else in the meantime. You've just been like head down, blinkers on, and then it comes and you're like, oh shit, inflation's 7%. Oh shit, fucking butter's $20. Oh shit, like the money's losing value just sitting in the bank account or the term deposit or whatever, and then you have to go and become a professional investor on top of what you've just become a weapon at, and it's like fuck me.
Yeah. Yeah. And then you pick the one company that does its ass or something. There's an asteroid hits it the next day. And you're like, oh, how? Yeah, there's a few things there too. I think even like being scared to lose it, we're already losing it because inflation is taking it off of us. So by doing nothing, we're already getting beaten. I've made a video and it's not out yet, but it's about guaranteed 10% returns. I'm like, I found
Mm.
them. They're on the RBNZ website. It's on the inflation calculator. There's a guaranteed negative 10 all the time. Like they're guaranteeing it. So why
Uh,
do we think that there's not guaranteed returns? They're already happening. But part of it too, the other part is like, how do we get scared about losing it? But we don't do that with our whole paycheck. We blitz a lot of it and then we save what's left over and then we get scared of losing that. But we didn't get scared of losing the whole paycheck because arguably you could be like, oh, you're scared. You should be scared of like spending it on rent or this mortgage. Like go live at home for 2 years.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
it's weird how we validate these things that we've made up from somewhere, and then you know, like how do you know you'll lose it? Yeah, I guess it's like an innate feeling. It's we're meant to feel like that. But the other, like you often say, you can always make it back. Like, and once you learn the skill of making money, you don't worry about these things as much too, because you do
Nah, that's the
realize like
thing.
yeah. Like the thing is, you could run over the neighbor's cat. You asshole, you need to pay me $1,000. Shit, man. It took me quite a while to stack up my grand. You'd be like, I'm going to give you the grand. Here you go. And you got to go again. And
Yeah.
yeah, and even Tama on his pod that hasn't come out yet, I was asking him because every time he comes on the pod, he's like, I've never lost money on a deal. But he's had a big issue that he's had to work through. And yeah, he sort of tells the story at a high level on there. So eventually, like you will lose some of it, and but it's not the reason to then stop.
Nah, I think it was like that text I sent you about people like Bezos and Musk and shit like that. Like, do you think they give a fuck about saving?
No, I don't even
Nah,
think they know how wealthy they
I
are.
don't even think. Yeah, but even worse, when they had no money, I don't even think they gave a fuck about saving them. Like when they were
Yeah.
18 and working on like trying an idea to make PayPal or whatever. Like, I don't think Elon Musk gave a fuck about saving it or
Mm.
investing. Like, he was just like, I mean, those are obviously like special cases, and
Well, it's probably like Carrington, right? Her goal was probably, well, I mean, speaking out of turn, but to win a gold medal. But then she's got like eight, I believe. So it's like they just keep going because it's their thing.
yeah.
And then, yeah, I think the thing about wealthy people too is that like the market decides what their wealth is. And also, like an example I used the other day, people say, oh, Elon's a good example at the moment because he's so in the news, right? Oh, he's all
Mm.
about the money or he's a rich, evil billionaire or whatever. If he was all about the money, like, would he be losing his shit at the moment? Because every time he does, his net worth just tanks. So,
Do you know what
like,
I'm
you
trying to
would you wouldn't
struggle with
send
at
it.
the moment with Elon? Is like he's
A lot.
like, what?
I was going to say a lot of things.
Nah, because he's been like the last couple of years he's been talking about AI, right? And like how it's a gigantic productivity boom and it's going to be life changing. We're going to have robots and all this stuff. But then at the moment, like if that's the case and we go through a gigantic productivity boom, like we reinvented the internet or the printing press or whatever, then the debt shouldn't be a problem, right?
Mm.
But he's like really up in arms about the debt. So I'm trying to work out whether he doesn't believe in what he says about AI, or as in it's not going to be that life changing and productive, or yeah, it's a funny one, eh? Why would you be so panicked about both things?
Maybe
Anyway,
the
that's
rate.
just some of my
Yeah.
internal thoughts.
Yeah. Hey, welcome to Mikey's Brain, ladies and
Yeah.
gentlemen. Um, refrigeration business is the best selling problems, solving problems, maybe. Okay, yeah, the boys.
I saw
Solving
someone
problems.
said get rid of taxes. Fucking A. Ma, man.
Uni,
Absolutely.
uni is so a scam. We have to do a pod on is uni a scam? We'll get Mikey going. I'm sitting on Waiheke Island. There's heaps of dollars here. I bet that's the sort of thing, right? Who's got my money? I've
Right,
actually got a
Queenstown,
yeah.
Waiheke. Oh my
uh,
God, eh?
Yeah, like people have moved their lives to Waiheke to build businesses there because they know the money is there. Same with Queenstown. There's like
Yeah.
multiple, yeah, stories of
Me and you
people
know
moving to Queen.
know some tradies that have like gone to Waiheke and like cranking business.
Mm, yeah,
Yeah, like it's a fucking well, it's still like a half hippie island, but like there's heaps of wealth there now because it's beautiful and it's amazing and it's still close to like a city, but you feel like you're nowhere near the city. Like it's crazy, man. That's another thing I think. Have we spoken on the pod about Mikey taxation is their Smith? Fucking A. Have we spoken about like? Oh, we have spoken about like arbitraging areas, eh? Like,
mm. We did that pod on Well, we did the pod with Bobby in America. There's a goodie. But your hundred. Oh, what's Bobby up to, man? We got to get him on a call. $100,000, your $100,000 mowing business. I think that was a good example.
hmm
But
yeah,
even
I just
yeah,
think like I had a phone call today from a dude top of the game in the finance industry, and the conversation was about how good Christchurch is doing at the moment. And like we're talking about like the macro landscape of it. And like when you go there, it does. It feels like it's a bit more bubbly than like other places in the country. Um,
whereabouts?
and
Oh,
Christchurch.
yeah, yeah.
And,
Yeah, because
and
there's probably more debt creation there because houses are actually affordable.
well, exactly, yeah. So because of the earthquake and it kept prices suppressed for so long while the rest of the country was rising and stuff like that, it's still not got unaffordable. So that like keeps everything kind of moving still, and people can afford to take out loans because they can service the loan that's going on the house for the price.
Mm,
um,
yeah.
but you just like when you're in the game for a while, you start to recognize these things, eh? And like you can make calls on like arbitraging. If you're a young person and you haven't like locked in your roots and schools and for kids and whatever, like have a look around, eh?
Someone said, "Is this about investing?" And I just want to touch on this because I reckon this is what's sparked New Zealand a little bit too. Is that when we talk about making money in New Zealand, the teaching has been like making money by doing nothing,
Gambling.
i.e., yeah, property, or even like, oh, how do I turn my 10 grand that I have saved? Like, how do I turn it into 20? We're talking about legit going out there, servicing people and transacting and making money. And I actually think like because property has done so well for so many people for so long, it just encouraged people to basically not have to be productive to
Mm.
then generate extra. It's basically like the theory is, if we're honest, like have equity, rent out property, sit back, watch debt increase, and
Yeah,
therefore
inflated away.
yeah, and then you've got access to more equity if you want to do shit, and you haven't had to do anything. That's unfair because yes, you do have to go and do four quarterly checks on it to make a tax deduction, etc. But that doesn't teach people how to productively, like, how do we then go and shake 20 billion out of the term deposits that the baby boomers have?
Mm.
We haven't been taught the skills, and and then someone says, "Oh, you're taking advantage of old people." Oh, you reckon fucking Ryman are going to give them a free rescue unit? You reckon Jim's
Oh,
mowing's gonna go around to your nana's house and mow her lawns for free? Hey, if fuck you can go around there and do it for free, man. Self countdown will give you your
oh
groceries for
man.
free after.
I'd
You
say
know,
Roman's prices are going up. They got some debt to pay,
big time. But like if more of us had more skills about actively making more income, I think people would be in a lot better place. But we've taught so many people, nah, like don't work for money, and just hopefully it just magics up via the share market bubble, and so people think that making money is about investing and watching the number go up. But I tell you, as you earn more money and stack more money, I'm watching my Sharesies balance swing from 190 to 25 to 210 to 190. I'm like, fuck, man, I can't log into this thing. But my
Yeah,
life
man. It's just
hasn't
been a
changed. I'm still
volatile year,
working.
eh?
Yeah, and
Yeah, nah.
I'm still going to my laptop every day, pounding it. Like I'm actually actively producing, adding value to the economy to extract money out of it. Not like, oh, damn it, my Sharesies account's gone backwards a bit. Oh, what's my KiwiSaver balance now too? Anyway, lost myself there for a bit. And then someone said, "Where
No,
do you guys
that's.
invest your money?" But it's a good point, right?
Oh, I'm just looking at the Bitcoin chart now.
I mean, it is
Yeah.
exciting when you do have money and it turns into more and you're not having to do it, especially when you normally bust your ass. Money, oh, I like this. Money is energy. It's frequency you tap into. It's a game. If you believe you have won the game, you can't lose. I like that.
Ooh, that's a nice one.
It's definitely a form of energy. Like yeah, it flows. Like you see it flowing. But when we believe like, oh, that's hard, then it's hard to do. Even one thing I used to do is I just pick up money off the ground. So for that person who thinks saving $70 is hard, like you want to tell yourself that that's wrong, and you basically want to be like, money comes to me abundantly and I see opportunities to make it everywhere. And you want to write that shit down. You want to have it on your screen. You want to think that every day. And honestly, you'll start spotting like $1 on the ground and you're like, oh, that's buzzy. And then you pick it up and then you have this moment of like, oh, sick. Okay. And then slowly you like wire your brain another way. And I know that can sound like a bit woo woo and stuff, but you're teaching your brain to look for opportunities. If you're telling your brain life's hard, it's hard to save $70. I tell you what, you're going to notice every price increase. Oh, I didn't take my New World Club card this time. Therefore, it cost me an extra $2. Everything is going to be about lack.
Yeah. Also, like pricing is just like the price of something is just information communication. So like if something is $10, that's just when you see that number of $10, it goes into your brain and you start to work out whether it's worth it or not, or whether you should pay it, or whether you should go somewhere else and find one for $9, or you're looking at the quality of it and you think, oh, I'll go get that better one that was $11. Like, and then when stuff gets too much for you and you're not thinking about the value of the thing that you're buying, the service or the item or the goods or whatever, and you're thinking about you personally, as in, I can't afford that, then it's literally time for you to go and make more money. Like, there's no other answer. Like, if you're like, I can't afford anything because when I'm going to look at this pricing information in front of me and it's communicating back to me and I'm communicating with myself, not thinking about the value of the product, but just like, I can't have that. The answer isn't like, hey, Luxon, give me another weekly ticket, mate.
Are we indexing tax rates again? Funny how they didn't index the tax rates in the budget.
Yeah, yeah. But like that
Shock.
doesn't solve your problems, eh? Like you have to figure out how to go and get that $10 yourself.
Yeah, yeah. Someone said, my lawnmower man emailed me today. He's going away all of July. No worries, grass won't grow much while he's away. What a good business can go away to Europe all July for this summer. You know, the funny
Yeah.
thing is, people, again, going back to the top, it's like we need this big idea and we want to do all this crazy shit. There are people doing 11-month years, having enough money to go to Europe for a year, mowing people's lawns.
Yeah.
What am I doing with my accounting? I might have a day off tomorrow
Very
doing those.
hustles our way.
Yeah.
It's good for
Cool
you
as
though.
good. Good to I do a burger business side hustle. Burgers. People love their burgers. Um, close your eyes to yeah. I'm just trying to catch up. I'm getting a pub job to work night and weekends plus work on my building contracting business pub. work will make me an extra 40K a year after tax. After tax, good shit. A pub job. You'll learn a lot in a pub too, like
40
a lot of skills.
after's grunty, man.
Yeah,
That'll change. That'll make you feel better.
shit, yeah.
I like 40 after.
Loving the KDC merch. Cheers. I got a little bit made up.
Fuck,
Um,
man. I was just looking at this Bitcoin chart. At one point this year, in 2025, Bitcoin was 133K New Zealand. As of today, it's 177K. But year to date, it started the year at 167, so it's only up 5%.
shit.
Fuck, she's a volatile beast, eh?
Back to the desk. I tend to
That'll
quote
put hairs
based
on your
on.
chest.
I tend to quote based on what you think someone slash the customer will pay for something, horses for courses. It's true though. Like you sell to value. What and I gave an example on the pod that I recorded that'll go out for Money Mail on Friday. And basically what I was saying is that go the Chiefs. If you're a $35 an hour person and you believe that and you believe the shit, around the dinner table of like this is a low wage economy, there's no good opportunities, excuse me, here and whatnot, and then you believe that again, like you're going to stay stuck there. But if you then go to the neighbors and they say, oh yeah, mow my lawn's $80 for 45 minutes, well now you just have one piece of data that says no, you're not $35 an hour. You believed that you were because you were worth $35 an hour to that person who hired you. That's the market there. But then the market says 45 minutes and do your lawns for 80, say. But then if that neighbor sees you and they're like, mate, can you come and do ours after? Oh, okay. Yeah, like, can you do them tonight? Because we've got a real estate agent coming around tomorrow to appraise the house. We'll give you $200 if you do them.
Yeah,
Uh, uh, nah, man, nah. I've got TikTok to go on, man.
cool.
No,
For me, I'll go do
you're
it.
gonna go around there and mow. Yeah, exactly. So then all of a sudden you realize, oh shit, there's value. So you're 35 an hour to the person who values you at 35. You're 80 to that person, then you're 200 to the person that's like, I want it done and I want it done with urgency, speed, or now it means more to me because they don't want lawns being long when they have their house appraised. So you have to start spotting like value to different people. And I guess the other point is like if somebody has $100 and you're $80 to do their lawns, but that's their only 100, like maybe you are expensive to them because oh now I've only going to have $20 left. But if someone's got 10 rack and you're $80, they're like, oh yeah, man, sweet,
Yeah,
left the
100%.
place unlocked. Grab a couple of beers on the way out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. You can never judge a book by its cover either. Like, you can a little bit, but basically, you don't know what the person's got in their bank account and what they will consider value or not, eh?
I know I bang on about this all the time, but like I truly think that Kiwi people don't understand that the economy is and will change so much because of the aging population. So as people get older, they will transact for getting their time back and for convenience. And if they're taking overseas trips, if they don't want to mow the lawns, don't want to rake them up anymore, don't want to do the gardening. So we're going to go back to an economy where the richest people are going to want more time and they have the biggest assets, i.e., big properties and shit like that, because they haven't downsized yet, and they're going to be able to do the work less and less themselves. So they're going to have to pay somebody. So there's going to be a boom in servicing older people to do the things that they can no longer do or can't be bothered doing.
It's going to be fun.
I like the saying, price is what you pay, but value is what you get. 100%. People must value the item service more than the price, otherwise they won't part with the cash. Yep. Money exchanges hands when value exceeds price. Maybe last one, mate, because we could be here all night. What's the value of earning money? This is a good one. If you don't have time, it shouldn't be that hard to survive. We are the only species on this planet that literally pays to exist. What is the world going to? I, I guess there's two
Mm,
ways.
there's two parts to that. Like,
Yeah,
first of all, like high,
go and make more so you have more time.
super high taxes and, yeah, but zooming out bigger than that, super high taxes and inflation takes more time away from us and which is unfair. So I disagree with that. So like sound money in the past has been better for that. But on the flip side of that, um, working and money and the monetary system means that we continuously improve the things habits we have, the way we do things. Like, I'd way rather drive the car I've got now than like the cars in the 20s.
Oh, you
Like,
should see my Tesla, man.
I'm in court like 4 times this year because I'm speeding all the time. That's way more fun. Like, you couldn't speed back in the day. The cars only did 40k. Fuck.
Yeah, you'd
Like,
be having a horse.
yeah. So, like, it is important that the human race works and then we get something back for our work, which is money. If the value of the money sucks, and that's a problem, which is like half the problem with the world, I reckon. But apart from that, it is important. Like,
Yeah,
you, you
yeah.
want us to be chasing after problem solving and bumping into more problems all the time because then your kids will have a better world to live in when we leave it because they'll have, they might not even have phones. They might have things plugged into the back of their heads that are more valuable than what we've got. And like, they might have hovering cars and no drivers and robots at home or whatever it is that we choose to leave them. But that doesn't happen by just like sitting at home because you've got heaps of time on your hands.
And the thing is, like, once you do have money, we've talked about this 1,000 times, but it's not like you just sit there and do nothing. Like some people, right? But it's an outlier. But I think that's what society's told us is get rich and do nothing. But a lot of those people get depressed and they don't even like it. And that's why people do accumulate wealth because they keep working because they enjoy it. And so I think people get stuck in this. Like if I used to think, what's the point of making this money if there's nothing left over? My answer was, fuck, man, I'm not doing this forever. I need to change this because this is frustrating for me. Not like, oh, society, Luxon, oh, Jacinda, etc. Like, oh, I need to change my vehicle. I need to fix this. And then you get to a point where you do earn more money, and then you're like, oh, well, I don't want to do nothing because doing nothing is boring as well. So then you do more of what you actually want to do. And also, it's like Amy, who came on the podcast, she's like, I got rich in my 30s, got all the toys and stuff, and then sat there and was like, oh, I don't have any mates to hang out with because everyone's working.
Mm.
So I think it's a hard one, but that's we can get lost down these rabbit holes of what a perfect world should be like, but we forget how capable we are of actually fixing it in some way. Like often clients will say to me, I want more time. I'm like, well, why the fuck are you doing these small jobs? I'm like, you said yes to all of that shit, and we're
Mm.
in control. Like, oh, well, I have to.
Go bigger,
Well, do
eh?
you? Yeah. Like, do you? I'm like, what are we doing to get the jobs we actually want to do? Right, there's a flurry of comments. How good was the super final? Josh, get off the stream. You're a dog. Big Crusaders fan, you. I know a few wealthy people, two of them in their 30s, are currently on a plane to Birmingham to see Aussie business class, hotel and tickets, probably 100k for two. Younger people have coin, but they are mega. Okay. My old boy's neighbor has just inherited 1.8 million from a family member as he was the only one left. He's 73 and has two properties and said he doesn't know what to do with it. I mean, that guy's going to need a lot of maintenance at those properties, man. I would be, and it sounds like they're pretty liquid to pay for the gardening too. I serviced an old girl's aircon last weekend for $75 and point share, 15 minutes work. Value. Pass it down to hopefully deploys it into the economy. Let's see. Mikey used to sell Avon and North Shore. I think I saw him with Suzanne Paul once. He does have good skin. I think he's been using the products as well. Gold 200 grand in equities this year with mortgage. Let's go. Well done. Look up Todd Grave, who bootstrapped Raising Cane's chicken fingers. I love a chicken finger. Did 3.7 billion last year just selling chicken fingers. What? Must be American. Righto. I need to cool
Oh
down before I
man.
go to bed, mate. Hopefully that's got some people thinking. People need to figure out what problems they want rich people problems or poor people problems. Oh, get that into you.
Yeah, that's a good one, eh? I like that one.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, man. Right. I've had to go to the dentist recently for a bit, and I'm talking $500 bills, $900 bills, and I've paid cash. Well, like paid there and then every time. And every time I see the afterpay or the Q card sign on there, I'm like, holy shit. That is it's like the sign is waving at old Luke. Like, that would have been you, brother, but you made sure that it wasn't. And
Would
I
you,
can,
how would you if Afterpay was around when you were like 18 to 22, would you have smashed it?
I'm tempted now. I would
So
have,
good.
I would have been the king. I probably would have I'd have a buy now, pay later. I would probably be running a buy now, pay later Instagram account on all the best places to use your buy now, pay later. Oh man, what
Oh
an idiot.
man. Oh, it's so
Oh,
good.
I was the king of credit, man. Sheesh, I had some, I had some cards in the wallet.
That's so good.
Another keep the
Oh,
change unplugged this year. Yes, yeah, I'm starting to think about that. I'm thinking maybe September. Thinking maybe cap it at 500, couple of beers after, hang around for a bit longer and hang out. Won't go to America the week before and see if we get stuck.
yeah. Did you have a look in the conference room the other day?
No, I didn't.
Oh yeah.
What do you
I I can't
reckon?
decide. Yeah, I can't
Yeah.
decide. I was trying to find normal. Someone told me that there'll be a plaque in there and it says how many people you can have in there. There's like a
Okay.
maximum, but I couldn't find it. I was thinking about just like taking a photo, giving it to ChatGPT and saying how many people would fit in here and see if it could work it out.
Just have 3 hours of standing room. Just cram
No, there's
500
seats and
people
stuff
in.
out the back.
Oh no, but I mean, if we just have more space by making everyone stand.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Oh well, we'll find a venue. Yeah. If anyone knows a good venue in Auckland for 500 people, let us know. Buy now, pay later. Sell the items immediately. Gear that into investments and roll the dice. What? Sell the anyway. That's on the fire requirement. Oh, okay. Gee, there's some smart people out here. Anyway, mate, good to tune in,
Yeah.
Mikey. Enjoy the rest of your week. Hope everybody out there is going well and finding ways to get through this tricky economy. Do you know what I was reflecting on, mate, finally, before we go, is that like a lot of people, the messages have stopped about, oh, hey, like my interest rate's going to roll over. I'm going to be 10 grand short, all of that sort of shit. Like all of those have stopped because the interest rates have started coming back down. But this is part of why we were doing heaps of content about increasing your income is because people actually had no option.
Yeah. Now the new panic is how much the CV's fallen, man.
Are you hearing a bit of that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Shit, I've been a bit of a dog and saying, oh, yeah, it's outdated too because it's actually a year old. It'll be even lower than that.
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny, like the real top real estate agents that I know that like just crush it in any market, they say that like last year, uh people coming into open homes and stuff like that would say things about like, oh, no one believes the CVs anyway because they're overblown from like 2021. And now the buyers come in and they're like, "Oh, what's the CV?" Like,
Interesting.
but yeah, people are just like using whatever they can to try and get a deal. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, there's definitely some people out there that I've heard that seem concerned about it. Like my
I,
view is like it's the council. The council are fucking idiots. Who cares? It's true though.
Yeah. I saw something about how they might want to start some regional councils as well, mate, because we don't have enough councils. So even some more councils, I can't keep up. I think we've actually got regional councils already, like Marabatu
We're
regional.
getting more
Anyway,
council.
oh, I shouldn't say that to you without going and reading the article properly. It'll
Yeah.
fire you up.
Okay. Send
But
it to
actually,
me. I'll read it.
what I did see the other day, which I thought was quite interesting, is that people could believe that their house price went up without them having to do anything for that to go up. And it, in some cases 100, 200, 300,000, but they can't believe that it can come down without them having to do anything. So they're in belief on the way up, but disbelief on the way down. I thought that was quite fascinating. I hadn't really seen anyone say that.
Mm. Yeah, it's a funny one.
Yeah. Like people were willing to be like, oh yeah, of course my house has gotten $300,000 more valuable without me having to do anything. And now that it's like going the other way, they're like, nah, what? Like, it's got to be worth more.
No, I think there's plenty of people who are pretty aware that their house value's gone down though.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. I might be living in a bubble.
yeah. That there's
That's,
definitely some
that
people
was
that
it.
are very aware of it.
Yeah, that was at Renters Anonymous the other night, mate. So
Do you reckon it can go down another 20%?
oh, not another 20, surely.
Do you reckon?
Oh, nah, surely not. Like, I mean, that's a stretch for me. I could see it continuing to go down.
Yeah,
Uh,
I
Um,
reckon we're in like I reckon we're in the bottom few percent now. I mean, anything can happen, of
well,
course, but
you said that 12 months ago, man. I get the date out.
yeah,
No, you did give an 18-month window, which was
yeah.
smart. I did have a convo with someone the other day though, and they're like, "Man, I might sell my property, And their circumstances have changed, so again, it's an outlier. But they were kind of holding on to the old, like, oh, I'll just hold on and it'll be better. But they're holding on, and I think they're learning. Shit, my townhouse looks the exact same as everybody else's. I probably should just sell this and accept the loss and get on with my life.
Mm.
Yeah,
Oh, well,
Some,
property's boring.
do you have any hobbies other than making bank? Yeah, yeah. Studying the
You don't
economy.
really.
Nah,
You don't. That's all you do. I do. I fish and play golf.
yeah, good man. Go to the gym, waste some money on some ponies, and rinse and repeat, and get back into some mahi. I'm off to Dunedin for the first time. Is anyone from Dunedin on here? I'm going to Dunedin for the first time. I'm going to have a meeting with Grant Robertson at the university. I congratulate
Uh,
him on such a great job that he did.
yeah.
Um,
Oh man, have you
yeah,
never been before?
I've never been to Dunedin. Well, I went to a race meet there once on Boxing Day. Fantastic, Wingatui. I was surprised the grandstand was still going, but yeah, I haven't been. So if anyone's got
Shit,
any
man, it'd be cold,
suggestions, oh, I'm not
but
looking forward to
it's a
that.
beautiful spot. They've got some really nice buildings down there, eh? Like some nice architecture, some like OG, old school shit that's quite cool.
Oh, buildings. I'm a big building man. Okay, I'll look out for those.
Just
Mikey.
pretty stuff, not
Oh,
like we
okay.
build them today, you know.
I'll get some content. Mikey's making donations to the police Christmas fund. Owen Chambers is in Dunedin tomorrow. Attaboy. More fun. X2. No, really. Driving range is good for a whack. I am shocking at golf. I only learnt a couple of weeks ago that Mikey is a very good golfer. Plays off a scratch, whatever that terminology is.
Yeah, yeah. Now I'm like a one handicap. I used to be good when I was younger, but I took 5 years off and I've been a bit rusty. I did shoot five under a couple of weeks ago, which is like,
Nice.
yeah, that's like pretty much as good as Tiger Woods. So
Someone says, yeah, pretty much old buildings and drunk teenagers. Oh, perfect.
yeah,
Dunedin, it sounds like my old Palmerston Orphans. Right, well, if anyone wants to shout Mikey a golf round or some new golf clubs, get in
I've
touch.
got some like fines coming up too. If anyone wants to help me with that.
And if anyone's got Grant Robertson's email, yeah, I'll be loving to catch up for a coconut flat white when I'm down there in Dunedin this weekend. All right,
Bye,
mate.
guys.
Catch
See
up.
you later, eh?